afternoon, and welcome to Lite and Snappy, the documentary for the modern family. I'm Cicely James, and this week we'll be looking at the first United Church located on the downtown east side. We'll be looking at the history and the architecture of First United, and as a special treat, we'll even be sitting in on some of the services. But first, I'd like to tell you about a few...
Enough! Excuse me, sir, we're trying to film a movie here. Would you mind getting out of the scene? Out! Out, 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 out! And while we're at it, I don't think it's necessary for you to mention the location of the church.
But I...
Cut the music. We don't want to give the church a bad name.
I think that having a street person in the scene would like, add flavor to it. I think it'd be really good.
Flavor? We're not talking about a soup here. We're talking about the church. We're talking about God.
God? What about reality? We're talking about reality
here. No, we're not.
here.
We're trying to emulate cleanliness. We don't want street people in our scene. Street people isn't effective.
Oh, thank goodness I can turn them off. They'll be at it for hours. Linda should know not to put those two together, especially after they've both had such a busy week. My, they really will be at it for hours. I think I'll go inside and have a look around. Maybe I'll get a few shots that we could use for later. At least someone will be working. Where did the off switch go? Oh, there. Aren't we brilliant? Ah, the church. Not very fancy, though, is it? Oh, and there's that street person again.
By the way, my name is Barry Morris, and I'm the minister here.
Minister?
You're welcome to film here, and I'm sorry I can't stay around and help you or show you around, but I'm late. I'm off to do a funeral. That's the way it is. Take care.
Oh dear, I think the joke's on us. Well, at least the minister has given me the go-ahead to look around. Hey, where did my picture go? Ah, oh come on. This thing needs an overhaul. There! Now why did I bring this camera tripod in with me? I can't wander aimlessly while lugging this thing around. Alright, put the camera on my shoulder. Oh, God, this is heavy. Ouch! Oh, I should get my hair cut. It's always getting in the way. Oh, wouldn't Andy freak if I came home with my haircut? Oh, no. What's that? Sounds like opera. There must be a shower nearby. Shower. Well, now that's a really down-to-earth fundamental service. I wonder how many people who live down here don't have a shower of their own. Seems to be coming from this direction. Oh, it's a men's shower. I was right. I think sticking my head in the men's shower is going a little too far. Showers in a church, how bizarre. I wonder if my shoelace is undone. I should have worn my shirt with shoulder pads. Oh, sorry. No entry. Clothing volunteers only. Sorting room. Well, Barry said I could go anywhere. God, this looks like a full-time job. Bet these are all donations as well. Bright light, bright light, bright light. Sorry about this camera. Clothing. Persons who are drunk and abusive will not be permitted in clothing area. Ladies and gentlemen, clothing allowed. Men, 2 items. Ladies, 4 items. Personal items, please ask worker. Thanks. You're welcome? Looks like they're for free. There's no one here. Oh, right, Wednesday was check day. But they're all taking care of business. In the land where I was born, lived. Looks like a food room. I wonder what it's for. Maybe they have a food bank here.
Excuse me, can I help you? I'm sorry, this room is for volunteers only.
Well, sorry.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thanks very much.
Hi, can I help you?
Yeah, I need some food.
Okay, I can sign you up to see a worker.
We don't have to see any worker in any other food bank.
Actually, this isn't a food bank. We sometimes give out food in emergency situations, and the reason you see a worker is so that they can determine whether or not it's an emergency. Okay? Actually, is this for yourself, or is it also for your family?
It's just me.
Okay, actually, we don't have food for single men.
Why not?
Well, I guess the reason is, well, there's lots of reasons, but I guess the main reason is that we don't really have enough food to feed everyone. And so we find ourselves making priorities, and our first priority is for the families that have children. Also, we find it's less intimidating, men find it less intimidating to stand in lines where food is being given out. However, I do have a list of free food places where you can get coffee and tea, and some places have sandwiches. And on the back here's a map, so if you don't know where all the streets are, you can find it on that map. Okay? All right?
What else does the center do here?
Well, actually, we do a lot of advocacy work. I mean, you can get help with personal problems, or if you get help with ministry. If you have forms that need filling out, we can help you fill them out, and make sure that you understand them and know your rights, things like that. Okay? All right. Yeah. Hi, can I help you?
Do I need help? Do I look like I need help? Really? Hey, I know this song. A service. Well, this should be interesting.
Yeah. Jesus said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for God has anointed me to preach good news to the poor." And that's why we've come here again today, to be reminded again of the good news that there is a God who cares for us, and that God who cares for us through other people calls us to care for each other, especially those who feel poor in spirit, or feel poor in mind, or are poor in material possessions. And for the news to really be good means more than handing out free meals to someone, or offering our leftover time, our leftover food, or our leftover clothing. It means to stand with those who are poor, those who feel oppressed by life. It's, if you like, to move away from the charity model, the one that's been so popular with people, to one of empowerment or accompaniment, where we stand with people but don't do for them.
Sorry. Guess the church doesn't just mean praying and stuff. Church is caring and community and teaching. If you have a church down here, you're going to have to teach people how to take care of themselves and help themselves before they're going to be open to being taught about God.
Hi, you call me eating the food. My name's Georgina, and I'm a community worker at First United Church, and we're here preparing a lunch for the handicap program this afternoon. Please come in, look around. You're welcome to, and we'll just carry on. Okay, now what would you do?
What is that?
I would suggest that you kind of divide it in half.
It looks like blueberries. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, those lucky people. I wonder if there's anything else around here of interest. Nope. These are the people who get the blueberries. Wow, pretty good attendance.
This is for members only. Would you like to apply for membership? It's at a cost of $5 per year.
Hey, I'm not handicapped. Everyone keeps asking me if I need help. Can't people tell by looking at me that I'm just fine? Talk about overreacting. I guess handicap doesn't just mean physical, but mental and emotional too. Besides, there are probably all types of people in there, and visiting the frontline workers. Nice office. Oh, outdoor light. I better change the filter. That's better. Besides, even I've been on welfare. Wow, this place is like an oasis in the middle of the desert. Who's that? Oh my goodness, it's her again. I'll pretend I didn't see her.
Excuse me. May I help you?
No. That's fine. I think I better get back to my friends.
No, we want to talk about the remarkable beauty of this church, how it was constructed, by who it was constructed.
Come on, people.
Who cares about the beauty of the church? It doesn't matter when people...
I care. This is my show. I'm directing
you don't need the services at the First United Church, so what's the point?
What are you talking about? We want to focus on the architecture and the beauty of the church and what's inside the church. We don't want to focus on any kind of history garbage.
But the history would let people know what we've been doing and possible ways of moving in the future. And
I believe that talking about the history is slightly important, like maybe 20% of the topic.
Who cares? 80%.
You know, a lot of people have the same misconceptions about First United Church as your two friends outside. But as you've seen, there's a lot more to this place than that.
When I found out that I would be working here, I thought, oh my God, what am I going to tell my friends?
I feel that not enough outside people know what's going on down here.
It's quite a different and exciting place to be.
I really can't imagine this community without First United involved.
You get to see people for what they really are and to see people for what they want to be.
It's pretty good. It makes me go and survive at times.
And not to condemn so easy, and not to be so stuck up, and to be more accepting of people for who they are.
First United Church is struggling to be a presence in the downtown east end, east side of town, on behalf of the wider United Church and in response to the great diversity of people and concerns within the area that we seek to minister in, as well as to be faithful to a very old and rich heritage, social gospel heritage.
For me, First United Church is caring community. It's us standing with people who are in one way or another oppressed by the world in which they live.
I spent quite a few years in the United States, and I was used to shopping for a special kind of church where they worked on in an active way with disadvantaged people. Not necessarily because I felt I was disadvantaged, but I wanted to be an active member of an active church, practicing Christianity in a real way. And I certainly found First United to be that kind of a church.
It represented for me a church who dared to care, I guess, a church whose faith was shown through the action. And that for me was important, and an important reason why I chose a church like First United for a summer internship. Through the mission and even through the congregation, the church, I believe, best exemplifies Jesus' words to love one another to go the extra mile.
What do you think about First United Church?
It's good because it's some place for people to go to in the downtown east side.
I used to be poor and living down here in this neighborhood, and I dropped in for soup when I was hungry a few times, yeah.
I like what they're doing as far as social housing.
Did you know what this church here does?
No, I don't.
What is frontline advocacy?
Frontline means people who come in off the street and they have a variety of concerns or problems, questions, and they need help in sorting things out. Can be anything from not having enough food and not being able to make it to the end of the month, to having a problem with a worker or not understanding why they've received the amount on their welfare check that they have, and so need to help sort things out.
It's helping them with just about everything, social insurance, you name it, practically everything, ICBC, housing, all kinds of different things, or referring them to other agencies where they need help on and advice on, or even budgeting if they want a little bit of budgeting done.
I think frontline advocacy is trying to be a bit of a bridge, trying to help communication happen between the people who come to us and the systems they have to deal with.
Best place around that I know. Look, the local volley.
The rehab program is a program put together in order to help people in the downtown East Side area help themselves with working to get off their addiction and re-enter society.
The volunteer program generally has two aspects to it. One aspect are volunteers who come to bring their skills and support the program, the structure of the program at First Church. We call those volunteers generally MAT volunteers, which is Mission Assist Team. They're generally drawn either from the community or from our local churches. I'm such a person who comes from my own home church to contribute my time. The second kind of volunteer we have are people from the downtown East Side community. These people come to contribute the skills that they have and also to gain from First Church some of the skills they need to re-enter life stream at whatever their needs are.
I don't live in Vancouver, so I don't know anything about United Church.
I would say that of all the churches which are changing what they do to match what the community needs today, from my personal perspective, I'd have to say that First United is sort of a leader in that field in diversifying the role of the church into more community-related activities.
Sentimental, oh you, I need you, like the night stars needs the stars.
The important mandate of First United Church is to be in contact with people who are isolated or lonely or sick. And we do that through a visitation program. We have now about 8 visiting volunteers who try and visit people who have been referred to us. And it may vary, maybe they see them once a week or once a month, but to have someone that's in continuous contact with as many people as possible in that kind of situation. For some, it may just be talking about the problems of their daily living. For others, it may be faith concerns. Many struggle with why their life has been the way it has been and what meaning it has. And so it may just be exploring those things with people. You perhaps have heard the experiments with babies that are done. The babies can be physically fed and may not live unless they have the emotional caring, and it's the same with adults. Everyone needs to be cared for and loved, and I guess that's what we try and do.
I like the family atmosphere, and I like the people, and it's such a, there's a lot of communication that goes around, and I think that's very important in an organization.
What is Friday Walkabout?
Well, one night a week, usually on Fridays, there's 2 or 3 of us that seek to keep in touch with what's happening on the streets around First United Church in the immediate area, particularly seeking to keep up to date on with street prostitutes and their friends or associates, as well as other people who may be in alleyways. They may have passed out, been mugged, may be sick. It's my strong feeling, it's our strong feeling, myself and some lay people from within the congregation especially, who are volunteers with me, that what goes on around the neighborhood is important to keep in touch with, and it's so easy to get out of step or to get out of touch with what's going on, so that by having a minimal but consistent weekly presence, outreach, point of contact, overlap with street people and what's going on out there is very important.
Doesn't the drop-in center, by making the life of the prostitute easier, just make it less likely that the prostitutes are going to leave the streets?
No, we try to make them feel a little better about themselves, more self-confident, so that they will be able to leave the street.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to stress that the function of the center is not to make the life of the prostitute easier. I think that's a misconception that I would like to see clarified. The center exists in order to provide a safe and caring environment for women who are working the street. And by that we mean a space where women can come that's non-judgmental, where there is no threat of violence, no threat of sexual favors being required, an opportunity for the women to really relax, socialize, as well as use a number of the services of the center, which are, for example, the distribution of bad trick sheets, the distribution of condoms. One of the more important aspects of the center is the referral service that we do.
Doesn't the Wish drop-in just show support for prostitution?
No, we show support for prostitutes, which is a different thing.
You say you don't believe in food banks, but doesn't the variety of food services here just result in another type of food bank?
In a way it is. We run a very delicate balance at a place like First United Church, insofar as we want to put our energies into social justice issues and activities, but at the same time respond to the crisis that people are experiencing, and the crisis is not enough food. And so we have to constantly keep in mind that what we're doing is not just providing food, we are providing crisis intervention in the form of food, either in a bag of groceries or in a soup line or in a porridge breakfast, while at the same time we are engaged in activities which would hopefully promote social change so that there doesn't need to be this free food given out.
Doesn't the soup line just cause dependence?
No, I don't think the soup line just causes dependence. In fact, in some ways I'd like not to call it the soup line. I'd like to call it the soup time. They're coming in, they're sitting down with their cup of soup, they're having conversation, they talk to staff, and as we've slowly changed the soup line in the last few months, making it more of a homey place for people to come, people are staying longer and not lining up as much to get in, but knowing it's more casual. So it's a chance for some ministry to take place in a comfortable, non-threatening way, and the staff who are currently working in the soup time are more encouraged every day as people spend a little minute longer in conversation, are lifting their eyes, they're smiling. There's sometimes even sharing a joke or two now, just showing that if we care, if we take the time to care, then they appreciate somebody who has the time.
Well, I love it here because I come every Thursday, do ceramics.
Not at all. I walk by it almost every day, though.
Well, they're very useful for the handicapped people.
You don't have to sing for your supper, you don't have to beg for your bread.
We at the Women's Center actually depend a fair bit on First United Church. We often don't have the time or the skills to do advocacy for the women, and First Church has staff which is there specifically for that purpose. Women know that they can go there to get help in advocacy and for the referrals.
Where do you see that First United could be doing more?
First United, first of all, is doing a lot of really, really good work. So there are certain areas that First United just needs to continue doing, if they can do more in. And one thing is to promote more social housing for senior citizens in the downtown east side, and also for handicapped people in the downtown east side. We also, a lot of work needs to be done for mental health patients and for ex-mental health patients. They need more housing, they need better services, and connected to both the first two things I've mentioned are more lobbying of government.
Actually, I think First United is doing a really good job on its own, and the one area where I'm hoping to see more happening, and I know First is working on it, is working on getting other United churches working on challenging the idea of poverty and the idea that we have to have poverty in our society.
Recently, the last couple of years, we've noticed a lot more women with children moving into the community. But the community really isn't set up to support families and single women with children. And I would really like to see First United Church get a child care facility or a preschool, some kind of a child-oriented program off the ground. I think that would be a great help for the women in the downtown east side.
I think what they're doing here is I give them full marks for it and hope they can carry on to do that and maybe expand some of the roles they do if that's possible. But they're certainly in the right direction. I hope they can continue to do it for the foreseeable future.
It matters a lot to us at First United Church that the rest of the greater Lower Mainland know that we're here and what we're doing. Not just Monday to Friday in the mission part when we do a lot of active work and advocacy with the disadvantaged and supporting those people who live and work and sometimes don't work in the downtown east side, but also on Sunday, because we are a small but very active worshiping congregation, and we have people come to us from all places in the city, not just the downtown east side, and it makes our church a very interesting place because we have a mixture of ages and ethnic groups, and it's quite a different and exciting place to be.